What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's time for another recap of that damn reunion that they won't stop talking about. So we pick back up on the fight going down between Brianna and Kale. As Kale said last episode, and Brianna takes her up on, she goes, okay, well, let's get Javi to come here earlier than his scheduled time so that we can hash things out. And for some reason, Kale all of a sudden goes, well, it's not that serious, Brianna. What do you mean it's not that serious? It was serious enough for you to have like a full-blown meltdown about it on several occasions and demanded this meeting. So I don't know what changed between like 5 minutes ago and just now when it comes to Princess Kale. That annoying ass producer Kristen goes over to David and Janelle's Airbnb. Remember, they didn't stay at a hotel. They claim it was because of what went down in Mandalay Bay with the shooting, but their kids are all there, whatever. And ask them to come over to the reunion. They're late. They want to make sure that they show up, all of that. And David never even opens the fence for his boss or anything like that. He just looks up over at her looking all high and dirty AF, talking about, oh, he and Janelle don't want to go to the reunion because Janelle hates everyone and she knows there's going to be drama, as if that bitch isn't addicted to drama. Back over to the fight between Kale and Brie. Kale sends her friend Bone over to Brianna's room where Brianna is with her kids, okay, looking for a fight. She comes over, she goes, well, Kale's crying in the other room because y'all confronted her. Why don't y'all confront me? What's the beef here? Dude, she's with her children. Leave her the F alone. That was so uncalled for, inappropriate, and like tacky. Of course, Brianna had nothing to say to Bone, like to her face while she was there. All she said was, it was handled, it was handled. And as soon as Bone leaves the room and makes her way down the hallway, tough guy Brie decides to suddenly act up and she just peeks over. That's right, you better keep walking or I'll smack the beep out of ya. While she's holding her child in her hand, knowing that security would come between her and this girl. She already had her chance back there, but of course she didn't take it because children are there. But to be in the hallway screaming like this in front of your kids is just gross. Of course, her sister Brittany, who has no life of her own, hears all the drama going down and then starts like charging towards Bone, wanting to beat her up and all of that. It's like, not only are your nieces here, but like other people's kids are here too. Stop it, you guys. All of this was embarrassing. Kale should have never let her tacky ass friend looking for her 5 minutes of fame head over there looking for drama. It was messy. And then Brittany needs a life of her own so she could stop fighting her sister's battles. Not everything has to involve beating someone up, and Brie should have just locked that damn door. And she had no business yelling down, and she had no business yelling threats down the hall at someone who was already like halfway gone either. Everyone's favorite character, Barbara, arrives next, and she visits Nathan in his room with his mom Doris and girlfriend Ashley, as Jenelle and David start heading into the set as well, and they're getting scanned down. They're scanning down what David describes as his body of mass destruction, which is just okay. Javi later arrives looking visibly excited about all of the drama he's caused. Brianna immediately wants to squash the beef between the three of them. She's like, all of this is just miscommunication, so why don't we go talk to Kale, get all the sides of the story out of there. And Javi, of course, did not want to have a three-way with Kale. I don't think this was in the sense of he doesn't want any drama or anything like that. I feel like he was satisfied with the fact that both of these women have different messages about their relationship and they're fighting over him, and he didn't want it to stop. I feel like anytime there's a battle going on between three people and one person doesn't want all of y'all to sit down and hash it out or talk about it together, there's something wrong with them that you need to look at them a little closely. Brie absolutely refuses to continue to allow these mixed messages to go on between all of them, and so she and Javi go barging over to Kale's room, and guys, when Brie turned around, I literally gasped at what she decided to do to herself by going over to Dr. Miami's place. Absolutely gasped at what was going on back there. So they get to Kale's room, and of course, Kale suddenly changes her mind and claims that they're all being like Jerry Springer, even though she's the one who demanded this three-way in the first place and is making the whole entire situation a much bigger deal than it even needs to be. Like, Kale was literally sleeping with people in her marital home for like over a year while her husband was deployed. She had a child by someone while she was still married. She would never let her husband like know who she was talking to and stuff, creeping with on the low, but all of a sudden she wants to know everything about her ex-husband and how he's dealing with a chick who lives halfway across the country. Like, it just made no sense, the huge deal that she was making out of like this casual relationship when Brie already told her what it was in the first place. We finally get to see a kid this episode. I feel like it's been ages since we've actually gotten like legitimate screen time of the children. When Jace visits his Aunt Jenelle in the makeup chair, who of course tells him to come over to her place without asking his mom first, and then she makes him go and get his brother, his half brother Kaiser, and drag him over to see her during Nathan's time with him, even though she's too occupied to even really get to do much of anything with Kaiser in the first place. This is just classic Jenelle looking to cause problems for no reason. Meanwhile, Brittany and Roxanne go to visit Brianna's baby daddy, her first baby daddy, Devon, who just got out of jail after getting booked for missing a court date, and they cry over his broken relationship with Brianna and ask that he tries his best to mend it for Nova's sake. Guys, why are these two people so overly involved in Brianna's life? Brianna is early to mid 20s, okay? Brittany is mid to late 20s, and her mom is late 50s with an autoimmune disease. Like, all of these people need to have their own separate individual lives. If anything, they should be supporting their mom at this stage instead of the mom, you know, looking over these grown ass kids. Like, it's just so ass backwards. Brittany should have been moved out of that house by now. Where's her degree or certification or trade school? Like, whatever it is. What does Brittany have going on in her own life? Because being like a side character on Teen Mom when you're a hair way away from 30 just isn't it. Just when I almost forgot how tragic Jenelle's reunion here was, we have to relive it here, okay? Backstage, we're witnessing the major tantrum that David threw over being called out for his violent tendencies, to the point where he drags Jenelle back to their hotel with him. And of course, Kale takes this opportunity to stage a revolt and play the absolute victim. She gathers her minions, Leah and Chelsea, and tells the producers that Brianna flipped out on Leah so bad that made her cry, which again was absolute BS. Brianna told Leah that she understood why she felt the need to go to Kale, that she got their loyalty, that, you know, it's almost a decade long. The only thing was she was kind of rude at the end where she was like, okay, well, I don't care to talk about it anymore. Bye. If that makes you as a grown-ass woman cry, then I do not know what to tell you. Your children are probably making you cry on a daily basis because kids are rude as hell. They also then complain about the fact that Jenelle left the reunion early. The producer was like, yeah, Jenelle left after her segment, but she's not holding up the final tidbit that we're all filming together. Like, that's going on as scheduled. She's going to be coming back. Like, they just went away because David was upset, and Kale was still upset about this, her and the rest of the girls. And it's like, you guys honestly do have like this mean girl clique against Brianna and Kale going on. So why against Brianna and Jenelle going on, sorry. So why do you even care that she left for a couple of hours when there's a lot of downtime where you would not even be talking to her in the first place? And then of course, Jenelle comes back later and none of them even talk to her anyway. So what were they really crying about? And so at a certain point, Kale goes, oh, the show is done if the three of us band together and refuse to film. So what would we do then? Us grown-ass people with our grown-ass degrees and careers would work on the next MTV show, while you grown-ass people with literally nothing to show for it, with the exception of Kale and then Chelsea working a couple of hours a week as an esthetician, don't have anything, okay? So I don't know who the hell these people think they are to be making demands to people who would still have successful careers without them, whereas they, on the other hand, would like be scrambling to figure out how to maintain their lifestyles. Like, it was just, okay, bitch, leave then. You're pushing 30 and all you have on your resume is a show called Teen Mom. Who do you think you are? You know, like Leah, we hardly see her this entire episode, last season as well, ever since she kicked her drug stuff. Chelsea has been irrelevant to the show for quite a while now. Like, how long is she in this episode or last episode? Like a combined 3 minutes between the two episodes. And then Kale, you've been beating up your baby daddies on TV for a while. Again, Leah was on drugs. So why is it that Brie and Jenelle are the straw that breaks the camel's back on this show? I just don't understand it. And to top it all off, while Larry was telling her about the solution and trying to calm her down, Kale couldn't even be bothered to listen and pay attention. That broad was just playing on her phone the entire time while her minions just sat around and couldn't even look them in the eyes or voice their own independent opinions. Again, like I said earlier, Jenelle ends up coming back just like the girls were begging for, but of course, they still don't talk to her. They exclude her from everything that they're doing. It's so cliquish. Okay, you guys, now this is where it gets really good. Nathan's girlfriend, on their way out, they just finished their segments and everything. She gives Jenelle's mom, Barbara, a hug, and Jenelle sees it somehow, and she flips her lid over it. She's like, oh my God, she doesn't want to be on camera, but she doesn't want to be on camera. Look at you hugging my mom. You just want to be on camera. Wow. And then she approaches her and everything. She goes, you're just a jump off. You're no, not a jump off. You're a side piece. It was so weird, her meltdown over this woman hugging hugging her mom, a woman who she claims to have disowned, doesn't care about, wants nothing to do with. Why do you care who someone you don't even care about is hugging? It was so crazy. And the weirdest thing about all of this is that she did it in front of her young kids, Kaiser and Jace. Like, poor Kaiser looked confused and like just scared about this crazy fiasco that was going on involving his, alleged mother and his grandmother as well. Leah's walking away. She's like even further away when she hears about all the commotion going on, and she asks like a cameraman the question that we were all wondering, which is, why does she care if she hugged her mom? Like, what is she talking about? So Nathan then tells Jenelle that she's alone because she lets men control her life, which was awfully ironic considering the fact that is exactly what Nathan was trying to do the entire time that he was with Jenelle. He also tried to isolate her from her mom and tried to like rip Jace out of his home with Barbara and everything while he was with Jenelle. So he literally had no leg to stand on here. Jenelle then tries to cry to his mom about how Barbara hugging Ashley hurt her, which was crazy considering all the drama that she's involved with Nathan's mom anyway. Like, Nathan's mom is frightened for Kaiser and believes that Kaiser is being abused. Meanwhile, the woman who cares nothing about the fact that her husband could be potentially abusing her child is crying about the fact that the mom she disowned is hugging someone. Like, what? Like clockwork, both Doris and Nathan call out David's abuse of Kaiser, and Jenelle calls David to cause more drama and claims that Nathan and his mom have attacked her just because they didn't give her the sympathy that she wanted. Oh my God. David then shows up and tells Jenelle to just get her ass in the truck. He's like, why don't you just get in the truck? Let's just leave, okay? Like, let's just leave. Of course, she did not want to go because she wanted to cause as much drama as possible for the cameras and for her poor kids as well. She then bizarrely demands that Doris no longer speaks to Barbara, which hell no was never going to happen because they're a family now because of Jenelle, and then she demands the chance to go and say bye to Kaiser because if she doesn't, he'll be traumatized. Dude, his birth and every single day of his life that he spends with you is traumatic, including this meltdown that you just had over literally nothing as well. Saying bye to him is not gonna change that one bit, okay? And then she just kept like, anytime Nathan would try to walk away with Kaiser, she would follow him and be like, oh, Kaiser needs to be supervised. He needs to be supervised, because that's literally the only thing that she has control over in this entire situation. And she just had to be a massive bitch, even though camera people were present, like other people were present. Like, she could have just left well enough alone and diffused the situation. But of course, no, this is Jenelle we're talking about. Mess has to be present in order for her to be satisfied and happy. Literally, you guys, what is life when David Eason is the voice of reason in a room? He kept trying to tell Jenelle to just go home with him. Like, let's just go. And then at a certain point, Jenelle threatened to call the cops, and I don't even understand why that was. And remember how I said how David seemed high as a kite earlier? David, who's normally the first person to call the cops in any situation, insisted that she didn't call the cops. Why do you think that is, you guys? So Jenelle gets her way to Kaiser, and then she hugs him goodbye, and David, who's literally not even involved in this situation, tells Kaiser, don't be scared of them, implying that Nathan would beat him or something, or he needs to be scared of Nathan and his own grandma. Absolutely inappropriate and disgusting. As Jenelle finally decides to leave, she creeps into her mom's room too, demanding to know what she's talking to her friend about. Like, she looked so creepy. She was walking down the hallway. She noticed someone was in the room with Barbara. She goes, what are you guys talking about? Tell me what you guys are talking about. You don't care about this woman. Leave her alone. Oh my God. Jenelle is such a miserable woman, like miserable to the T. Look up miserable in the definition and you'll see Kale's image sliding down below and Jenelle's replacing it in this moment. Barbara then lets it rip and lets Jenelle know that everyone in her life is worried about her and that David has been isolating her and probably abusing her. Jenelle demands to know what friends have been contacting her, not because she doesn't believe that her friends would reach out to her, but she's calling Barbara's bluff because the girl knows she has no friends. She's like, what do you mean I have no friends, kind of thing. Meanwhile, Kale and her basketball ass claim that the show has suddenly turned into trash and she's leaving. This girl is always desperate for attention. Like, she's like, this show is trash. I'm so damn dramatic for literally no reason. She's like, I didn't sign up for Jerry Springer. Your whole 3x3 life at the beautiful tender age of 25 is a Jerry Springer 3-part, pun intended, special, Kale. Not to mention that botched ass job you got. Not to mention the fact that you've beat up literally every single one of your baby daddies. You're the one who sent your friend and her cheap ass romper that doesn't even match her natural color palette to confront Brianna in front of her children, and all of a sudden this show has become trash. Like, really, your life is not trash enough as it is. Like, why do you think you're on this show, Kale? And by the way, you guys, Kale's level of Jerry Springer life is more than I just described. In fact, isn't she the same person who not only cheated on her deployed husband with a classmate that she had around their young child, sleeping in their home and everything? Not only that, she also cheated on Javi with his best friend Dom, and then used it as a storyline for another reality show, Marriage Boot Camp. Honestly, I don't think Kale wanted to leave for any reason other than the fact that she noticed that Jenelle was about to steal the show with all of her ratchetry, and she was upset about it. And I want more scenes. You know, Kale's always begging for a damn spin-off, and, you know, just acting up, even though she's the one who caused literally all of the drama in her own scenes, refusing to act like an adult when Brianna came up to her and said hi, and when Brianna told her about what the relationship was between herself and Javi. And of course, in the midst of all of this, Chelsea comes out of her dressing room looking absolutely shocked at everything that's going on. That's literally her contribution to the episode, besides following Kale around, like, and not giving her own damn opinions on anything. Like, and you are sitting there bargaining with the producers about the fact that you might walk off. Listen, Chelsea, that like shocked face you make every now and again between your 5-second cameos per episode is not making these producers the couple $100,000 that they're paying you. Feel free to walk off since you think you're so much better than this show. Anyway, in the final scene of the episode, Nathan and Barbara then talk about how ridiculous it was that Jenelle flipped out over the mom she doesn't even talk to. Their conversation about Kaiser, brotherhood, and like the multiple baby daddies that these girls bring around their children was really somber. Speaking of Jenelle, she was out by her truck with David crying about not being able to be with their kids, but last I checked, she had a newborn that she left somewhere in order to film this reunion. So why didn't she bring her? I mean, Chelsea had her newborn, Brianna also had her newborn, so what's Jenelle's excuse here? Like, there was just so much going on, but it's nice to finally see like these episodes moving along, especially after the snooze fest that was Teen Mama G. Anyway, enough rambling. As usual, I'm more excited to hear what you have to say about everything, so please make sure to leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll chat. You can also like this video, subscribe for more, feel free to share it with your friends as well, and follow me across social media where I absolutely love chatting with you. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.